Hello everyone and welcome back to Tea Time Crochet. I know I've been gone for a while. I did break my finger and now I'm finally back. So I wanted to do my first tutorial with the shawl I had been showing you in my podcast. I was calling it the back to shawl, but since that's already someone else's pattern that I had adapted from knit to crochet, I'm calling it the Solstice Shawl. So the things that you're going to need are, you're going to need some sort of worsted weight yarn. I'm using this Mainstays Basic yarn, and it is in the color Soft Gray Heather. Any worsted weight yarn will work. I have 2 skeins of this. It is a rather large shawl, so you're going to need a whole, either maybe 2 of these skeins or a whole skein of mandala, which is what I used for the other shawl that I showed you guys in my podcast. You'll have seen it in the pictures that came on before this, but you're going to need probably 2 skeins of worsted weight yarn or 1 skein of mandala. You're going to need a 6mm crochet hook and all your usual tools, your scissors, your yarn needle, and you are going to need a stitch marker of some sort. I have a paper clip. This is going to be a 2-part crochet along basically. So I'm going to film the first part and I'll post it, and then next week I'll film the second part and post it. So you'll have a week to work on the first part of the shawl, and then the next coming video will be the next half of the shawl to end it. So it is a very big shawl. So I just don't think that I could fit it in to one video easily without overdoing it. So I just think the shawl is too big to fit into one video and me able to fit it into the time frame that I'm able to work it up in. So we're going to start off with a slip knot. And I will be referring to my notes, just so you know. So we're going to start off with chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to put 2 double crochets into that beginning stitch. So it's the one right at the very beginning. So we're just going to put 2 more double crochets into that. So that's 1 and 2, and that is going to count for 3 stitches. So we have our chain stitch, or our chain, beginning chain here, and then 2 double crochets. So 3 stitches total. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet in the first stitch and the second stitch. So 1 in the beginning stitch, and then 1 in the next stitch, and then in that last stitch you're going to put 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. And this is where you're going to need your stitch marker. You're just going to pop your stitch marker anywhere on the front of this side. So this is just going to serve as a reminder that when you see the stitch marker on the side that's facing you, you're going to put 2 double crochets in that last stitch. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across. So you're just going to repeat the last 2 rows. So the second row and the third row, you're going to repeat those over and over again until you reach 87 rows. So I'll do a couple more rows with you. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we know that this is our increase row because it has our stitch marker. So we know that at the end of this row we need to put 2 double crochets. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to the last one. And here's our last stitch. We're going to put 2 double crochets in it. And this shawl, it gets wider at a slower rate than other shawls, so you just want to keep that in mind. You're only gaining a stitch every other row. So this was our increase row, so we know the next row is just going to be a straight 1 double crochet in every stitch. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and this is our increase row. It has our stitch marker on it, so we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across until we reach our last stitch. And then in the last stitch we're going to put 2 double crochets for an increase. And then you can just keep moving your stitch marker up the further along you go. That way it's closer to the top and it catches your eye right away. Now the next row is going to be your 1 double crochet in every stitch row. And then chain 1 and turn, and this has our stitch marker, so we know that in that last stitch we have to increase. So put 1 double crochet in every stitch until the last one. And like I said, you're just going to repeat these 2 rows over and over again until you have 87 rows. Yeah. And here's our last stitch, so we're going to put 2 double crochets in it for an increase. And then the next row we're going to chain 1, and the next row will be our plain double crochet row. So 1 double crochet in every stitch. You chain 1 and turn, and then this will be our increase row. So you're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the last, and then 2 double crochets in that last stitch. You're going to chain 1 and turn, and that's your 1 double crochet in every stitch across row. And you're just going to repeat that until you have 87 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and work up all my 87 rows, and then next week we'll work on the other half of the shawl. That will be decreasing it back down to 3 stitches. So I think this will be, a nice little crochet along, and it should turn out to be a beautiful shawl. So like I said, go ahead and keep repeating those 2 rows until you have completed all of your 87 rows. And I'm going to go ahead and pop in a screen with those instructions at the end, when I get done talking here, just so you can refer back to it if you need to. That way, you know, if I went a little too fast, you'll be able to have it in writing what you need to do. So go ahead and finish all your 87 rows, and then I will meet up with you next week. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.